Where do we get the tradition of celebrating July 4th with fireworks? The answer may surprise you. The first fireworks for independence did not launch on July 4th, 1776. They actually happened a few weeks earlier. In May of 1776, 100 Virginians gathered in Williamsburg for a meeting. They were in a dire situation. The King of England had dissolved their legislature. They were living in chaos. There was no law and order. On top of that, the royal governor of Virginia, who was loyal to King George III, was going up and down the rivers and he was burning land and murdering Virginians. They had to do something. So they decided that they would issue a resolution saying that Virginia was no longer connected to England. And they wanted the Continental Congress to do the same for all of the 13 colonies. And then on May 16th, 1776, they celebrated their independence. They had a parade, a big feast, and they launched fireworks from the capital of Williamsburg. So Virginia became the first state to launch fireworks to celebrate independence. Within weeks, the news of their celebration was covered by 13 different newspapers. It appears that John Adams might have read that article about Virginia's celebrations because he predicted in a letter to his wife Abigail how Americans would celebrate this great cause of independence.
This will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. I am apt to believe that it will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the day of deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other from this time forward forevermore. I am well aware of the toil and blood and treasure that it will cost us to maintain this declaration and support and defend these states. Yet through all the gloom I can see the rays of ravishing light and glory. I can see that the end is more than worth all the means and that posterity will triumph.
Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. And my heart for my fellow Americans is that you would rediscover some of the amazing stories from our nation's founding. I have written 6 books about the American Revolution. I have a book called First Fireworks for Independence, and I have a mystery. I have a novel, a devotional book, and then my new book is called A Great and Grateful Nation, From Grievance to Gratitude. I also have a children's book series called Revolutionary Readers for America's 250th. My latest book within that series is called Why the 4th of July. If you want children in your life to understand why July 4th is the nation's birthday, please pick up a copy of Why the 4th of July. I also have 3 books on the War of 1812. So dive in, take this opportunity to rediscover American history and our love of country. Thanks again for watching, and let's celebrate America's 250th with a big fireworks show. I'm author Jane Hampton Cook.